Tri Stadium under the Thursday night lights. Great expectations for Texas entering this year. An opening loss to Maryland dashed some enthusiasm. A near upset at USC revived those hopes for many. Tonight, Big 12 play kicks off at Iowa State, where nothing has come easy for the Longhorns. 4 years ago, Texas survived 2 near fumbles by Jonathan Gray in the final minutes. And Case McCoy had a 1-yard touchdown plunge with 51 seconds left as the Longhorns escaped, winning 31-30. Then, just 2 years ago, Iowa State head coach Paul Rhodes replaced starting quarterback Sam Richardson with Joel Lanning, and the Cyclone defense held Texas to 204 total yards, blanking Texas 24-0. Texas Longhorns have taken the field. Texas 16-5 all-time in Big 12 road openers. And wearing new helmets for the first time ever. They've got the Cyclone up on the leather. Here is Iowa State. And with that, we say a very pleasant good evening. It should, weather-wise, should be a great college football game. With Brian Greasy, I'm Steve Levy in for Dave Fleming on this Thursday night. You think about the Cyclones and don't necessarily think explosive offense, but they have scored 40 or more points each of the first 3 games. And Iowa State's never scored 40 or more in 4 consecutive. Looking for some history tonight, Grease.
Yeah, it should be a great game. I think Jacob Park is where it all starts. Their quarterback, he's got a big-time arm, and he's got weapons on the outside. Alan Lazard, outstanding wide receiver. Ben and Ames seems like forever. Hakeem Butler, another outstanding target on the outside. They love these big physical wide receivers, but really, to me, Steve, the best player on the field tonight will be David Montgomery, number 32, the back for Iowa State. You see him here against an outstanding Iowa defense. He made them look silly all game long. He is big, 5'11", 220 pounds. He's built like Saquon Barkley. And you see here at the end of this run, he's running over Josie Jewell.
Yep.
Okay, Josie Jewell is an All-American linebacker. I can't wait to see David Montgomery play in this game.
Park told us they haven't clicked yet. I mean, how many points are they going to score when they do click? Todd McShay is like our American Express card. We never travel without him. Down to the field, here's McShay.
Wait a second. Who's Todd McShay? I'm Laura Rutledge, and I'm here every Thursday night. Guys, I don't know where we got this confused. Like, what, excuse me, I'm trying to do a job here.
All right, go get him.
What? What's going on here, guys? All right, well, as Todd McShay gets out of here, let me just tell you about who is going to be on the field, guys. Shane Buechele will start at quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. Tom Herman said his bruised throwing shoulder hasn't limited him in practice this week. His arm looks 100%. Buechele has said it takes him a little longer to get warmed up, though, and Herman says they'll monitor him throughout this game. It's his game, though, until he struggles or feels pain, and they may have a shorter leash than you would expect because of how well Sam Ehlinger looked against USC, completing 70% of his passes. But guys, nothing scripted for Ehlinger to get in.
All right, Laura, thank you, and sincerely, we apologize about the confusion with the personnel. That was actually...
Well, Todd got the quick hook. Maybe the
right.
Texas quarterbacks won't get the quick hook, but he did.
That was
hey, man.
quite embarrassing.
Whoa, Laura kicked me off the field. I've got nowhere to watch
You
this.
can hang out with us, man.
Thanks,
you can
guys.
hang
You
out.
guys are
I'll
all
show you
right.
what it's like up here. It's not all fun and games in the booth like it is on the field.
Where's the
right?
AC you normally have?
No air conditioning here. It will get cool tonight. We expect temperatures to dip into the 60s, which will be nice for everyone concerned. Laura mentioned the short leash for the quarterback. Interesting. Tom Herman said he had a tough decision to make early in the week.
Yeah, certainly a tough decision, but you know, I think it doesn't matter which quarterback ends up playing. I think they're both a similar skill set. Offense will be the same, Todd.
Yeah, the offensive line is going to be key. They're going to have to out-scheme Iowa State in this game if they're going to stay in it. Iowa State scoring so many points. I think we're in for a dogfight tonight.
And we are underway. Texas won the toss deferred. Iowa State will receive, and Landon Akers will take a knee. And we'll see the Cyclones with their new helmets, special for tonight for Thursday Night Football under the light. And there's a look at Jacob Park. He is nothing if not entertaining, and he's got the big arm.
He does. That's the first thing that jumped out to me. We're in the booth now. Now we're talking over each other. on the field, but the first thing was the ability to drive the ball down the field. I love their offensive scheme. They take advantage of the entire field, and he has the arm to drive it vertically when they want to.
Again, they have scored 40 or more in every single game. They've never done it 4 games in a row. As they open up 1st down and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Park out of the shotgun as David Montgomery to the right. They fake to Montgomery, and Park will put it in the air. Loft one down the sideline. Was looking to connect with Trevor Ryan. Deshaun Elliott was with him step for step on the coverage.
You know, it's a big game for Jacob Park. Last year, he was late getting to Iowa State. Didn't have a whole lot of reps in preseason camp. Finally started to come on at the end of last year. He was splitting reps with Joel Lanning. And now this is his team. It's his opportunity to shine. He's been fantastic through 3 games, but tonight, a bigger test against this Texas defense. 2nd
down and 10. It's his team, and it's his hair, as you can see. He's got some salad flowing underneath that helmet. Here's Montgomery, the first big gain of the night. He's close to the 1st down marker. So stumbled just shy, bring up a 3rd and short.
I know you both scoffed at me when I said this kid had talent kind of on the level of Saquon Barkley. Now, he's not Saquon Barkley, okay?
All right, I'm glad you.
But he has the same size. He has that strength, the vision, and the speed. I think
and he can catch the ball and block like Barkley does.
On 3rd down and 1. Send Ryan in motion, top of your screen. They fake to Montgomery. And Park's going to be dropped by Poona Ford and Deshaun Elliott. Everyone expected a monster night out of Poona Ford, and he starts big there.
Ford is the best player on a really talented Texas defense. Number 95 in the middle of the field. You're going to watch him all night long. This guy is a nightmare for offensive linemen. Iowa State, I suspect, is going to try to double team him a lot more than they did there. Does a great job with that first step inside move. He's tough.
6 feet, 305 pounds. He's low to the ground. You know, he gets that leverage, and tough to keep out of the backfield.
Colin Downing from his own 15 will put it in the air. Amani Foreman is back out at the 29, and there's a flag. And with that, we'll say hi to Texas quarterback Shane Buechele. Must feel like an eternity since he played, since that Maryland loss. His dad, of course, is an 11-year big leaguer. Current Texas Rangers bench coach. Grew up in a family of Oklahoma fans. Whoa, what's going on there? And is a team champion ping pong player. Hey, the kid's an athlete. He can do everything, and that includes ping pong.
We'll see how he responds, right? Last time he was on the field, they lost to Maryland. He gets hurt. And then this young true freshman, Sam Ehlinger, comes in, plays pretty gritty in the SC, almost upsets them on the road. You see young Sam there. So a little pressure on Shane Buechele. We mentioned that might be a little bit of a shorter hook. That's what his head coach says. If he doesn't play well, it's a lot of pressure.
Herman wanted to make it very clear Buechele did not lose that game against Maryland. They had a ton of other issues. Handoff to Kyle Porter. And maybe a yard on the play before J.D. Wagner came up to make the stop.
This is going to be a big key in the game, I think, Brian. Texas has got to be able to run the football and take some pressure off Buechele and the passing game, where they're struggling to protect right now with all the injuries they've had along the offensive line.
Yeah, their left tackle, the All-American Connor Williams, out for the season. They lost Elijah Rodriguez as well as Andrew Becht, who was a blocking tight end. They've lost quite a bit. Patrick Hudson, they're a patchwork offensive line right now.
All by himself is Buechele to throw on 2nd down. The quick screen out into the flat to Lorenzo Joe, and he is swung around for a loss. Mike Warren making the tackle.
And this is the situation that Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator for Texas, does not want to be in, especially early in this game. Get this crowd at Ames into the game, 3rd and long, backed up situation with an offensive line that struggled in pass pro.
3rd and 9, getting loud. They've set a record for consecutive crowds over 50,000 here at Jack Trice. Here's Buechele, good pocket for him. Has plenty of time, directing traffic, and now he's tripped up. Dropped at the 15 to the fumble. The ball comes out. Jaquan Bailey put the pressure on and dropped him, and then Buechele coughed it up. And Texas has recovered. Zach Shackelford fell on top of the football, so they'll bring it up 4th down.
And nowhere to go. They decide to rush 3. This ball clearly comes out. He's just trying to put it away. And Shackelford, as you mentioned, Steve, heads up play to get on the ball.
There's a flag down on the field as well.
Not the kind of start that Texas wanted to have offensively. Obviously, this offense has sputtered in the last 2 weeks.
After the play was over, sportsmanlike conduct, number 19, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. That's number 19's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for the game.
That's Jaquan Bailey, the sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida. So we'll watch for that.
Oh, well, Bailey was the one that was chasing Buechele. He ultimately got the sack.
What a huge mistake.
Oh.
And I was going to say outstanding defense by Iowa State because Buechele had all the time. The coverage must have been outstanding, and they still can't make anything out of it.
Well, with Jaquan Bailey, they need him. You know, they don't have a whole lot of studs on the defensive line, does Iowa State. And see if we can see what happened after he got the sack.
So Texas doesn't have to punt. They get a fresh set of downs on 1st down and 10. They'll take the 15 yards as well. It's a gain of 6 to Chris Warren.
Boy, he just did like a little roll there, right? You know, but it's so long after the play's over. I think that's what the official is sensitive to. Wasn't egregious, but it's not necessary. You know, it's just maturity.
Come on, man. It's college kids on a Thursday night having a good time.
Oh, come on, man, already.
Little somersault. Don't get off my lawn, Greasy. Come on. 2nd down and 5. It's back to the line of scrimmage. They bring up a 3rd down.
A big break for Texas. And now if you're Shane Buechele, it's gift wrap for you. 3rd manageable situation here.
We'll see if they defensively, Iowa State shifts it up and tries to bring a little pressure here. Although last time they rushed 3, dropped 8. Really gave Buechele a tough time. Couldn't find anyone open.
It looks like rush 3 again here, Todd.
And here they come. It is just the 3. And again, you would expect that. Buechele would have all sorts of time. Time for a cup of coffee. Pumps and goes. And the throw, and it is caught for 1st down yardage. Armani Foreman took the big pop, hung onto the football, moves the chains, gain of 11 on the play.
You know, that penalty hurt him, Todd, but they didn't have Bailey on the field to rush in the 3-down situation, so they couldn't get any pressure.
And great protection there. I thought he had Foreman open earlier, could have gone to him earlier in the play, but gets him in time.
Out 1st and 10, out about near midfield. And they'll put it on the ground to Chris Warren. And he goes across in the Cyclones territory. Joel Lanning, the middle linebacker, made the stop for Iowa State.
You know, I was really excited about watching David Montgomery play, but I'm equally as excited to watch Joel Lanning play. For those that don't know, he was the quarterback of this team, starting quarterback a year ago. They bring in Jacob Park, and he threw the ball a little bit better, but Joel Lanning was an emotional leader for this team. He was Land Ram was his nickname, right? He was the battering ram from quarterback. They asked him to play middle linebacker, and he says, whatever you need, coach. It's unbelievable.
Here's Kyle Porter on the ground for a couple. Lanning makes the stop, and you know, you've seen quarterbacks change positions, but maybe it was safety.
Yeah,
not the middle linebacker.
End, you know?
And he hadn't played linebacker since he was in 8th grade. So you talk about a huge transition, a position he hadn't played in so long. Really a selfless move. They knew that he was one of the 2 best players that they had on the team. Just so happened that Park, the quarterback, was the other one. And so they wanted to get him on the field, and he did this simply for his football team. Really impressed.
3rd down and 5 upcoming. And they're bringing pressure this time, bringing 6. And that allows the underneath to be open to little Jordan Humphrey. Humphrey's across the 30. And Humphrey has them in excellent field position. Everett Edwards eventually brought him down, but Lil Jordan Humphrey on the big play, gain of 28.
Great recognition by Shane Buechele. He sees the double-edge pressure, knows he's got to get the ball out of his hand quick. Just give your playmakers an opportunity, and Reggie Wilkerson there, the safety, number 3, misses that tackle. Give Humphrey credit. You got to make a play for your quarterback against the blitz.
Here's Texas on the move now inside the red zone. Hand off to Kyle Porter. And he's down to the 15-yard line. Last thought on the Lanning story, and again, it's hard to get away from it. Nowadays, a quarterback loses his job. They can't wait to transfer.
Right.
That's it. Peace out. I'm out of here. But it speaks to how much Lanning loves the system, the program here, and really all of Ames.
Well, we were talking to their defensive coordinator, John Haycock, and he said, we didn't just ask him to come over and play linebacker. We asked him to come over and be the quarterback of our defense, which is a completely different animal.
2nd down and 6 is the 11th play of the drive, again aided by the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. It's Warren, stopped by Ray Lima. And the other thing is, they said they couldn't hide him on defense, but it's like being the quarterback. You got guys coming at you from your right, from your left, looking to take your head off.
Yeah.
At the middle linebacker spot, same way as a quarterback.
Well, the ISO block alone would prevent 99.9% of quarterbacks moving there.
Imagine saying, yes, Greasy. Hey, Grease, we're going to need you to play middle linebacker at Michigan. Right in, Chris Warren, right through Lanning and that defense, touchdown. And the key play on that drive will be the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Jaquan Bailey. Warren scores, Texas draws first blood.
And talking with Tom Herman, they said their most important factor for them coming into this game was running the football. They didn't have enough consistency running the football. They take advantage of that penalty. They get a big 3rd down conversion from the quarterback, and then they finally run the football in the red zone.
Here's Josh Rowland. Field goals have been an issue. Just 1 of 4 on the season, but he's been perfect on point afters. 11 yards on the score. They go 12 plays, 81 yards, and 627. And again, the unsportsmanlike conduct was the key. Leading to this Chris Warren touchdown. It's 7-0 Texas. Back in Ames, Iowa. Jaquan Bailey still feeling the effects of that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that allowed Texas to continue their drive and in the end score on the Chris Warren touchdown. 7-0 Longhorns. Landon Akers will look to get the Cyclones some good field position. Instead, he'll take a knee in the end zone. Good hair, people. All right, on 1st down and 10. Here's David Montgomery. And he gets pushed back. We'll give him 4 on that first carry. And is that how you come to work? Yes, sir.
Why not?
Yes, sir. There's a man who's full of confidence.
It was interesting talking to him yesterday at practice. He just had a baby girl maybe 2-3 months ago. Yeah. He's had to mature. He wasn't, self-proclaimed he wasn't the most mature guy when he was at Georgia, but he's a leader of this team now.
Hand off to Montgomery. Cuts to the left, trying to turn the corner, and he will. Deshaun Elliott able to force him out. Gain of 7, though. 1st down and 10. And Jacob Park comes out firing and hitting. Marchie Murdoch has 1st down yardage. Iowa State will take over, and they do so in Longhorns territory. Gain of 10 on that play. Final minute and a half of this 1st quarter. Here's Park to throw. Good protection. Trying to go down the sideline for Murdoch again. Holton Hill had the coverage, and the crowd roaring for a penalty they won't get.
Clearly, they like this matchup of Murdoch on Hill. Now, Hill has played well so far this season. Murdoch's got some speed. I think that's a good no call. Looks like he tackled him at the end, but the ball was already past him.
2nd down and 10. That's Montgomery to the left of Jacob Park, and Montgomery has the football. Trying to hit his hole. Stopped by Malik Jefferson. We send it down to Laura.
Steve, we see Texas safety Brandon Jones back in the game. He is dealing with a rib injury. The Texas athletic trainers said he was good to go back in the game, but he does have some pain that he's working through.
Thank you, Laura. McShay, that's how that's done, by the way, just so you know.
I'm learning. Have I done an injury report all year?
Injuries? What injuries? Everybody's hurt out there, right?
3rd and 7. Iowa State looking to convert. Here's Texas with pressure, and the quick pass batted up in the air, and it will fall away. Nashawn Hughes got the hand up to deflect the football. Bring up a 4th down.
Nice design there from Todd Orlando on 3rd down. Brings a pressure, and then he drops Nashawn Hughes out in the route to get underneath.
Any decision here, fellas? 4th and 7.
See this pressure here, and then you're going to get a dropper right underneath. There, Hughes just on the end of the line. This is the kind of stuff he did at Houston, Todd. He had really creative defenses, a lot of different hybrid types that you can blitz or drop, and it confuses quarterbacks.
And Iowa State is punting. Colin Downing. Informal call for the fair catch. And Texas will take over at the 11-yard line. Should be a great doubleheader. College football tomorrow night. Final half minute of this first quarter. Texas will keep it on the ground with Chris Warren and another tackle for Joel Lanning. We'll see if that does it for the quarter.
I'm a little surprised that they punted there. Yeah, not a bad call. It makes a lot of sense. It's not give Texas a chance to start going on offense again. But this is an offensive team for Iowa State. It wouldn't have surprised me at all if they decided to go for it, even though it was, what, 4th and 7?
Yeah, but that part of the field, I was wondering myself the same thing. And that will do it. I believe she was wondering as well. I can't believe they punted the football. That's what she Maybe things will be better in the second quarter. After one from Ames, 7-0 Longhorns. Touchdown on their very first drive. For quarter number 2, Steve Levy, Brian Griese, Todd McShay, and the Thursday night staple that is Laura Rutledge. It's Buechele on the run, and he is slammed around and spun down. Jamal Johnson made the stop.
That's the part of the game. You see Sam Ehlinger there. That really Sam's a better runner, but Shane right now is a little bit better of a passer, and that's how Tom Herman explained it to us last night. Both are going to be part of this offense moving forward. It's just that Herman and Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, feel like Shane Buechele gives them a little bit better chance right now. And you know what? You shouldn't lose your job to injury, which I tend to agree with.
And on 3rd down and 1, Buechele trying to get there, and it is the second effort that allows him to spin off a would-be tackler, Marcel Spears, and get the first down.
Yeah, great effort there from Buechele. That was Kamari Cotton-Moya, the senior captain safety for Iowa State, that came up. You'll notice that Cotton-Moya has a brace on that right elbow. He hurt it in the Iowa game, hyperextended it, and you wonder if he's able to tackle as sure as he has been known over his career at Iowa State. Can't imagine that it's easy to tackle that big thing on your arm.
1st down and 10 now. Out at the 23. Off the low snap. Buechele looking to his left, and now we'll check it down to Tennille Carter, who will stumble forward for a few. And I'll bring up a 2nd down and long. Again, Carter gives them something they really don't have in the backfield. What is that? That twitch that we always hear about.
That shiftiness, right? Like just that speed to make a guy miss and go the distance. And every offensive coordinator wants that kind of back in their backfield, and Texas hasn't had that of late, and maybe the true freshman can give it to him.
Played in the San Jose State game, but didn't play in either of the other two. And there is Carter off the draw. Stopped by J.D. Wagner, Todd.
Deontay Foreman, remember, a year ago, it's a monster season for Texas, even though they struggled. And he wound up leaving early, the 3rd-round pick of the Houston Texans. So they're a little bit behind in terms of where they want to be at the running back position, but this freshman looks like he's got a little bit of juice.
3rd and 4, he comes out. Buechele's all alone. Good protection. And it's caught for the short gain. Colin Johnson makes the catch. Now they're going to say it was incomplete. Could not hang on. That wouldn't have gotten the 1st down anyway.
Well, he was Brian Peavy. You got to give him credit. The corner, this senior captain, just kept fighting. Give a little bit of ground, let him complete that ball to the outside, and then after he throws it, come up and get your hands on that football, and he continues to fight. Colin Johnson, it's a difficult catch. Good defense.
Give John Heacock, the coordinator, some credit too. Really good job of mixing up coverages. He does a good job with this unit.
Michael Dixon, see what he's looking at. He'll put it in the air. Trevor Ryan will call for the fair catch, and an excellent pun drives Ryan all the way back to the 10. And that's where the Cyclones will take over after a 60-yard punt. Excellent punting tonight. It's 7-0.
Welcome back to Ames. A little bit different from Iowa State. When they're in a timeout, they kind of have their offensive line meets together. This is the quarterbacks. Here you see the running backs, and here's the wide receivers. I think the coaching, I don't see that very often in college football, but each coach is kind of giving the assignments and a heads up to their individual units. It's a nice way to get a lot of information in a short amount of time.
It's like they have position rooms in the facility. Yep. They've got the place they stand on the field. Long pass coming out, starting from their own 11, and Park's on the money to Akeem Butler. Longest play of the night so far.
And that's the spark that you need. Iowa State offensively, they come in, they got a lot of confidence, scoring 40 points a game.
And they want to go fast after that gain of 23. Here's Park on the run, and he will throw, and I think he was throwing that away. Lazard was in the neighborhood. Bring up a second down.
There's no foul. For eligible man downfield. Second down.
We'll pick that up and put it in our pocket.
Let's go back to that last pass play. It all starts with the protection here, and then look at the big hole in the middle of the field. That's a nice job by Jacob Park and the offensive line, giving some protection. Great pickup by the back. And if you give him that kind of space and that kind of time, he's got the arm to make you pay.
And Butler can do some things for you. David Montgomery checks in. He's bottom of your screen now. And he's the man in motion. Park fakes it to him. He'll roll to his right. He's being chased. Throw middle of the field. Too high, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Deshaun Elliott. And he will be dropped on the Iowa State side of the football. I mentioned Butler can do some things. Park was trying to get it to Butler, and an ill-advised pass.
Yeah, you have confidence as a quarterback, right? And you get outside the pocket, and you got to make a decision. And if you freeze it here, guys, you throw that ball down there. Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a window, but if you're not absolutely perfect, that ball is going to be intercepted. And those are the kinds of risks that as a quarterback you have to manage, especially backed up in your own. It's kind of interesting, and I remember talking with Todd Orlando a couple of years ago. He never had met Tom Herman before he called him to interview for the job, and that goes to show you the kind of respect that Tom Herman has for Todd Orlando. And certainly Orlando's stock is going to continue to rise as he gets more of the players kind of in his image that he likes to play defensively at Texas.
And I would say his stock is already pretty good. He's on that rather short list of coordinators already making $1 million a season. Of course, that list is getting longer. You want to keep these great coordinators, got to pay them. Pay them what some head coaches are getting someplace.
Right, like Brett Venables at Clemson.
Off the turnover. Texas with a 7-0 lead, 7.5 to play here in the first half. Buechele will keep it. Finds a seam, has the first down, and then will slide down. Nearly took a big hit from Brian Peavy. It's a 12-yard gain. There is a flag down at midfield. Peavy's pointing to his shoulder. I hit him with my shoulder.
Yeah, doesn't matter. You hit him with his shoulder. You hit a guy in the head, and by definition, Buechele becomes a defenseless player when he gives himself up right there, and you can't come up and hit him in the back of the head with any part of your body. It doesn't matter if it's a helmet or not. You can't hit him with your shoulder, can't hit him with your forearm. You hit him in the back of the head like that, especially a defenseless player that is a quarterback, and that's going to get a flag every time.
Defense, 15-yard penalty from the run, automatic, first down.
But again, that is not a target. That is unsportsmanlike conduct, and that's the rule on the field. Still, it's a 15-yard penalty gain, and here's Foreman. He's across the 30, dropped by DeMonte Ruth, and this crowd is still buzzing about that penalty call.
Yep. Well, now you put Iowa State's defense is in a bind here. You cross the 35-yard line. Texas has got their running game going now. Combination of wide receiver screens and wide receiver jet sweeps, and then you bring Chris Warren in at 250-pound and sledgehammer tackles. They've found a running game in this game.
2nd down and 7. Warren in motion, bottom of your screen. Buechele looks to take off. He'll run, and he'll dive forward this time. Lanning tripped him up. He's shy of the first down. We got the word from the replay booth. At that point on the non-targeting call, the ruling was that Buechele was not a defenseless player. quite often the quarterback is considered.
If he gives himself up on a slide.
Here's 3rd and 2. It's Buechele again. This is the Shane Buechele show right now, running on 3 consecutive plays. We tick on to 6 minutes left in the first half.
Tom Herman's offenses throughout the course of his career, when he's had good offense, whether it's Ohio State, whether it's at Houston with Greg Ward, he's had a quarterback that's mobile, that's been able to be a +1 runner in the run game. And it remains to be seen if Shane Buechele is going to be that kind of a player. Actually, Sam Ehlinger is more of that kind of a player, but for this offense to be working at its best, they need that element.
Here's Buechele to throw. He's 8 of 10. Doesn't feel the pressure. He's smacked as he's hit, and he throws and completes. It's Tennille Carter. Tennille Carter, the true freshman, for the touchdown. A 22-yard passing play. Buechele hung in there from the pressure from Marcel Spears and delivers a scoring strike.
Great job of standing in the pocket from Shane Buechele. You're right, I don't think he saw the blitz coming off the edge, but he found the matchup that he wanted. Tennille Carter with speed on the linebacker landing down the middle of the field.
Here's Rowland on for the extra point. It is up and it is good. So Shane Buechele gets him into scoring position thanks to his legs, and then in the end it's his arm. Took a hit, made the play. Both Texas touchdowns now helped by 15-yard penalties. 14-0 Longhorns.
Longhorns up 14-0 back in Ames, and defensive coordinator John Haycock is not happy with his defense. They got that 15-yard personal foul penalty, and then they give up the big touchdown right down the middle, the guts of his defense. And he knows that this is an offense that's getting their rhythm, but defensively they're going to have to get some stops to win this game.
And Iowa State, they're going to make some offensive plays here. Some field position. Do something to stay in this game. Landon Akers will take a knee. Reese, you've been there. What is more difficult, to know you're going to get hit, to feel it and see it and still hang in and release, or to not know you're going to get hit and be blindsided?
Definitely not know.
I guess you can prepare yourself, brace yourself a little bit.
Yeah, it takes your breath away.
On 1st down and 10. David Montgomery. We expected him to play a starring role for this Iowa State offense, but the Cyclones just can't get anything going.
Yeah, they need to get him going. Comes into the game averaging over 100 yards in each of the first 3 games with 4 touchdowns. Tonight you see just 4 rushes for 20 yards. This offense for Iowa State has to start with David Montgomery. They need to get him touches, and if it's not in the running game, Steve, throw him the ball.
Yep. Get him in space. 2nd down and 9. Out of the 26. Park rolling to his right and throwing, and able to complete to Matthew Eaton. He's going to be short of the 1st down. Eaton's first catch. Hey, Montgomery must be a pretty good guy. Tom Manning was talking about him, the offense coordinator. He said he's the best human being ever. Now, maybe a slight exaggeration, I don't know, but you got to be a pretty good person to have someone call you the best human being ever. And that's what he said about Montgomery. Good job by Park to get it away to Matthew Eaton. And they have 1st down yardage. That's their first 3rd down conversion of the game. And maybe a little buzz from this home crowd.
Boy, they needed that one, and now they need to get this tempo. When Iowa State's offense is working well, they're going as fast as humanly possible. They just haven't been able to get that rhythm.
Park's looking left. Throws underneath. Able to complete, but they're going to need a lot more than that to get going with no timeouts left.
That's okay, though. You know, you get a 1st down and stop the clock. That's the most important thing. Just need another 20 yards to get in field goal range.
Gain of 11 there to Deshaunte Jones. Again, that ball is up in the air for grabs, and it is intercepted. It's Chris Boyd down the sideline, out to the 40-yard line with 13 seconds still left, and Texas still having 2 timeouts. Longhorns might not be done here in the 1st half.
Yeah, you got to give credit to the pressure from the defensive line up front. You're going to see it's Brecken Hager right here. He's going to get pressure on the right tackle. Bryce Meager pushes him right back into the lap of the quarterback. Now that's bad, right? You get pushed back like that, that's bad. What's worse is the quarterback then tries to force a ball like that and throws the interception. Sometimes you got to know when to eat it.
I think Park might even hit his hand on the helmet of the offensive lineman. That's how far he was pushed back into him. It goes to a turnover with 13 seconds left and a 28-yard return. And Texas has a real chance of getting a field goal here before halftime.
Yeah, we have all your offense at your disposal with the timeouts. You can run it in between the time. You can throw it in the middle of the field, do whatever you want. But you got to think that you got 2 plays max. Then you can attempt the field goal.
See, when Park has looked downfield, it has not gone well for him. Passes longer than 10 yards. Here's Shane Buechele. Hit from behind as he throws. That's up for grabs and batted away. Deflecting it away was DeMonte Ruth. J.D. Wagner had the pressure on Buechele, and he really got intercepted on that play.
Yeah, I was not a big fan of that play call there. I don't think you need to try to push the ball way down the field in this situation. You bring sack into the equation, and it takes a whole lot of time. That play took 7 seconds, so you got to get something quick here. Tell whoever receives the ball to get out of bounds or get on the ground to call the timeout and attempt a field goal.
The pressure from Buechele when it's come has come from that left side where there's no Connor Williams to protect. Trying to set up the screen for Warren. Has got running room. Leaps over a defender.
It takes
with
too
no
long.
time left on the clock.
It takes too long.
Hey, it's great. You're in field goal range, but it's also halftime.
Yep.
So the extra effort by Warren to get extra yards will cost them a field goal attempt. 14-0 Texas at the break. We'll see you for the second half, but first to the studio. Adnan, Joey, and Jesse. Jack Trice on a Thursday night in Ames, Iowa, with Shane Buechele and Texas leading by a score of 14-0 as we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. Steve Levy in for Dave Fleming on this Thursday night, joined by my usual pals Todd McShay and Brian Greasy. You'll hear from Laura Rutledge shortly. So we open the show saying, hey, the Cyclones, explosive offense. They've scored 40 points in every game so far, and then goose egg right now at halftime.
Well, you got to give credit to Texas defense, right? And specifically Todd Orlando. I thought that they had a great plan coming in to get Jacob Park off of his spot, not make him feel comfortable, and they forced him into some indecision, and they forced him into 2 interceptions.
Shane Buechele has done a nice job of managing the game as well, and the offensive line hasn't been great, but it's been improved, and they're not making the same mistakes that really hurt him at USC.
Park had to throw 26 times in the first half. That is not in the game plan.
Well, and they haven't gotten the ball to their best player, Montgomery, at halfback. They've got to get him going in the second half.
And that will bounce out of the end zone. Down to Laura.
All right, Steve, well, I talked to Matt Campbell, and he said that what they've really seen success with is mixing up their coverage defensively. And Tom Herman told me going into halftime that they felt like Iowa State had come in playing a different defense than they had expected. So those mixed coverages have really helped. Matt Campbell telling me they have more up their sleeve.
Draw play to Kyle Porter. It's a loss of 1 on the play. Spencer Benton came up to make the stop, but you're right, Grease. I mean, that is the basic of the basic. We've documented how banged up and inexperienced this offensive line is, and yet Iowa State refuses to bring pressure. You would think it would be easy to get to the quarterback in this case. Yeah,
well, I give credit to Benton here. He's been rushing, right, the last 5 minutes of this game. He still has some energy, but you're right, Steve. This is an approach, but John Haycock is a very veteran defensive coordinator, been around a long time.
35 years for Haycock.
He's trying to keep this game close.
2nd and 21. Out to Gerard Hurd.
And clearly what that means, Steve, right, is that he doesn't feel the confidence in the back end to play man-to-man, right? To play against a Colin Johnson or Lorenzo Doe or some of these weapons that Texas has. He's keeping it to 14 points here, which, you know, you expect your offense to score some too, but they just haven't been able to do it.
Especially when Iowa State's gotten 40 points in every game.
Right.
You see Buechele, his numbers impressive, especially on 3rd down. Big 5 or 6 every single time. Porter is the single setback to Buechele's left.
This is coming because there's no deep safety.
And here's Buechele. Finally some pressure up the middle, gets at it, throws it, it's intercepted. It's picked off. Kamari Cotton-Moya back in the lineup, makes the big play. Maybe that's the spark the Cyclones needed.
A little bit of change from John Haycock, right? He rushed 4, he played 2 deep, and man under really put the pressure on on Shane Buechele and forced him into making this mistake. You're going to see the pressure from up front. Got to get that pressure right there, and then the decision. He doesn't see the backside safety caught Moyatat.
And he hadn't seen that look very often today, and so it surprised him. Didn't see the safety, as you said, winds up throwing the interception.
Here's Jacob Park. Hit as he throws. Back shoulder, and it's dropped. Matthew Eaton knows it. Could have had a big play there.
Now, that ball was really well thrown on the back shoulder from Jacob Park. This has been a little bit of an issue for Iowa State's receivers. As talented as they are, 6'4" Eaton goes, 6'5" Lazard, 6'6". They've had some issue with drops. The end of the Iowa game in overtime, it was Hakeem Butler that dropped a first down play.
And Boyd had slipped down. That could have been 6 right there. 2nd and 10. On the ground to Montgomery. And Poona Ford makes the stop. Down to Laura.
Guys, Matt Campbell still talking to Jacob Park about the pressure that he's dealing with, trying to give him some advice. He said you can't just catch the snap and stand up. You've actually got to get it and drop back. And then he said then you may feel some pressure, but you've still got some space to step up in the pocket and buy yourself some more time.
And that's what we've seen. When you have outside pressure as a quarterback, you need to climb in the pocket. And a lot of quarterbacks are afraid of that. And their first instinct is to just roll out to the right or left.
3rd down and 10. Rolling to his right. And he rolls right out of bounds. Brecken Hager forced him out. Bring up 4th down.
I mean, this is a tough game, right? You're kids. It's a tough game. There's a lot of pressure going on. And Jacob Park's not having his best game. Right now, there's so much thinking going on right now. He can't even throw the ball away when he gets to the sideline. He just runs right out of bounds. He's not spatially aware. So, you know, Matt Campbell, Manning, they have their hands full on the sideline with him. I still don't know why you don't at least call some screen plays or some swing passes. Get your best player, Montgomery, matched up in the passing game.
So the Cyclones can't do anything with the great field position off the turnover. And Amani Foreman, the fair catch at the 10. And we'll step out. 14-0. Iowa State still looking for that spark. Back in Ames, Tom Herman's Longhorns are leading 14-0. We asked Tom the biggest difference in his life from, say, a year ago at this point to now. And he said, well, no one's talking about where I'm going next year. And then he also said he was able to pick out a dream house. That's Chris Warren, the ball carrier. He said the difference, we've moved so many times, 6 times in 11 years. Our first concern as a family was, okay, we're going to buy a house. Will we be able to sell it without losing a ton of money when we go to sell it? He said the difference is now, he told his wife, hey, we can go buy our dream house now. We expect or want to be in Austin for a long, long time. So.
Well, there's good reason why he was the hottest commodity on the coaching market right after the national championship at Ohio State, and then what he was able to do at Houston in a short amount of time. It was impressive.
2nd and 8. It's Chris Warren. Spears and Lanning on the tackle.
Everybody wants to know, you know, you come to Texas and, you know, at Ohio State, you had some really good quarterbacks, right? J.T. Barrett, Cardale Jones, etc. Braxton Miller. You go and have Greg Ward, a transformational player at Houston, and now you come to Texas and you've got 2 quarterbacks here. You know, one that showed some grit in Sam Erlinger, and now Shane Buechele, who's played a pretty efficient game. But are these the quarterbacks of the future for Texas? I think that's what everybody wants to know.
And he keeps saying he doesn't need Vince Young in order to have an effective offense because of what they want to do, but they need to get better up front offensively in that line.
3rd and 5 off the play fake. Get it to Foreman, and he won't get anything. Well done by that Iowa State defense. Reggie Wilkerson and Willie Harvey.
It has not been pretty for Iowa State on the offensive side, and they haven't had any rhythm or momentum in this game, but their defense has been that bend, don't break. They've given up a couple of plays, and they've made some mistakes with penalties, but outside of that, I feel like they've played well enough to win this game.
Absolutely.
They've kept them in it.
And they've started to make some adjustments here in the second half that we've seen. I think Haycock has done a nice job. A veteran coordinator. You know who he started with? Grad assistant? Bo Schembechler at Michigan.
Of course he's good.
Michael Dixon shanked it. Dixon, who's been so excellent for Texas all night, shanks that one. And another break for Iowa State. Let's see where they're going to start.
I talked to a scout coming up here, and he said that Dixon was probably the best player on the field in the first half. He was blown away by his leg, and really shocking, that kick.
17-yard punt is what it goes for. Here's Park, come out firing, throw and catch to Lazard, and he's down to the 11-yard line. And the crowd has something to cheer about.
A little patience in the pocket there, bro.
Yeah. Well, and if I'm Matt Campbell, I would have told Jacob Park on the sideline, look, man, stop thinking, just relax. We may win, we may lose, but it's not going to be, we're not going to win if you're continuing to second guess yourself. Just let it rip.
17 on that play. 2.5 left, third quarter. In a 2-score game. Here's Park throwing end zone, up high, and nearly a spectacular catch. Hakeem Butler went up for it, and Deshaun Elliott rocked his world. Great effort by Butler in the end zone.
It would have been an outstanding catch. Give credit to Deshaun Elliott. These safeties are put in difficult position, Todd, because they can't hit high.
Right.
You can't hit a defenseless receiver, but he played that perfectly.
He timed it perfectly, too, is the key. Right when the receiver was starting to come down with the ball, he was there in the back.
Elliott's been their best secondary player from the SC game and tonight with the interceptions and that big play.
Park 16 of 33 now. Little option out to Montgomery. Thought about throwing it and does back in the end zone. Could not hit Lazard, sailed it over his head. Chris Boyd wasn't falling for that one.
I like that play call. I really like that play call there. You have to respect Montgomery, right? Your quarterback's a little bit rattled, and this is just well done by Chris Boyd. He doesn't bite on the outside. There's nowhere to throw that football. That's just good defense.
Back just in time for 3rd and 10. A lot of running room. Park will throw it and complete for the touchdown. Matthew Eaton back in the nick of time. And Iowa State's back in the game.
Well, you talk about tipping points, Todd, in a game, and after that last play, there was an altercation between Jacob Park and his head coach Campbell, and they were not on the same page. A lot of emotion, some yelling back and forth. He goes back out on the field and makes a big-time throw, gets his team back into this football game.
Garrett Owens puts it through. 14-7, and here's what we're talking about. This is prior to that last time out.
Yeah, you see right after that second down, he comes over, he's yelling at Matt Campbell. I think he said something like, let's get this thing going. And Campbell clearly says, listen, you need to listen to me, son. Like, this is how we're going to build this program back, and you're not going to do those kinds of things on the sideline. Go back out there and make a play. That's the only thing you need to do as a player, is make a play for your team. Don't talk about it, be about it.
It's one of the few times we saw him hang in the pocket. The pressure came from the outside. He climbs up and keeps his eyes down the field and keeps just his poise about him in order to find an open receiver, and then he just lets it rip, which is something he hasn't done a whole lot of tonight.
And it was emotional. He'd come off on the sideline when it was a Clemson, he yelled at Dabo Sweeney, you know, in the spring game of all things. He's got a little bit of that in him. He's got to be able to channel it in positive ways.
Here's Foreman trying to get a return. And that ball comes out. Iowa State says they have it. And they do.
Like Mauricio Ramirez jumped on that football for Iowa State. Question is, was the knee down from Amani Foreman? He's fighting.
It's his own player.
Boy, that's close.
After review, the runner's knee was down prior to the ball coming loose at the 14-yard line. Will the game clock operator please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 2 seconds. 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
They found some conclusive video evidence to overturn that call.
That's really well done by this crew and the replay booth. And Walt Anderson and the Big 12 crew back at the Central Command, because what a game-changing play that would be, and it would have been the wrong call had it stayed on the field, ruled a fumble. So that's really well done.
Monty Foreman's a happy man. Carter, the New Orleans native, they fake to him. That ball is tipped up in the air by Willie Harvey. And they're going to call it an Iowa State touchdown. That's a loose live football. Reggie Wilkerson able to pick it up after Willie Harvey deflected it. And all of a sudden, it's a one-point game.
Ball has to be going back behind the line of scrimmage. A lateral from the quarterback. Take a look. Great look here from the opposite side.
I think that one's coming forward.
Yeah, we're going to look at that too.
They're going to let it go.
Back to review. The ball is going forward, therefore it's an incomplete forward pass. Second down. Will the game clock operator please reset the game clock to 1 minute 41 seconds.
The breaks not going the Cyclones' way, as you mentioned. They're very close to doing something in this game.
Well, think about the emotion that Matt Campbell is going through on that sideline, right? His quarterback comes over and yells at him. Right. He has to settle him down. Then he goes back out and throws a touchdown pass. Then he's got his arm around him, and now he's got back-to-back replays that could have been game-changing replays that don't go in his favor. The emotions of being a head coach.
Word from Laura downstairs is they were asking if the tip made it go forward. And that was not the case. The pass was going forward across the line of scrimmage even before the tip. Here's Buechele with all sorts of time, and see if they're going to call that a catch off the top of the grass. Colin Johnson. No, the official's going to get some help and say no catch.
Colin Johnson's been quiet tonight. He's been their big play receiver. Big receiver, gets down the field. He struggled with press coverage a little bit, but once he gets going, he's great on the 50-50 balls. I'm surprised they haven't worked the ball a little bit more to Johnson tonight.
Yeah, well, they only rush in 3, Todd, so they've got 2 guys back there in a zone looking at the quarterback. It's hard to throw the ball to a guy in that situation.
So Colin Johnson still stuck on 2 catches for the 27 yards. Here's 3rd and 17. Buechele to throw from the end zone. Short game. Joel Lanning wraps up his man, Lil Jordan Humphrey, and swings him around. So Texas will be punting from their end zone with 1:20 to play here in the 3rd quarter.
That's exactly what Matt Campbell and this defense for Iowa State wanted to have happen. Is throw the ball short and come up, rally to the football, and get him on the ground. And now you wonder, Michael Dixon, where is his head after the shank on the last punt?
Dixon punts of 61, 60, and 56 yards, and then the 17-yard clunker that led to the touchdown. From the goal line, will kick it away. Trevor Ryan will let it bounce. And it will take a Texas bounce, and Iowa State will take it at the 37-yard line. 41 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. It's a pretty good field position to start a drive. Here's Park. Texas rushing 4. Sideline, back shoulder. Murdoch got all turned around. Incomplete.
He's hanging in there better. That throw is off, but at least he's, I mean, if the blitz came earlier in the game, like it did off the backside, if he recognized it, and he's going to probably take off running. At least he's hanging in the pocket a little bit more.
2nd down and long has been a blitz down for Todd Orlando in this game. It'd be interesting to see. I would come after him.
And they drop, rushing just 3. Here's Park stepping up and throwing it. It's intercepted. Intercepted by Deshaun Elliott again.
Have a night.
Deshaun Elliott. He looked like the intended target there. 2nd interception of the night. His 4th of this young season.
Talked about when Jacob Park misses, he misses high, and he's just trying to get the ball to Akeem Butler. There's a seam there. There's a great window there. And you know, I'd love to say that Deshaun Elliott had a great play there, but he just had to open your arms and hits him right in the chest. That's the.
And Butler's 6'5".
Yeah.
I mean, you're overthrowing 6'5" receivers, 6'6" receivers, 6'4" receivers. They have one of the bigger receiving cores that we've seen all season long. And he's continually missed high.
Tough to imagine this third quarter going worse for Iowa State, and they have a touchdown in the quarter. Pushed back 5 yards after the penalty. Michelle will hand it off to Foreman. Trying to get around the corner, and he can't. DeMonte Ruth came up for the stick. See if we get another play here in quarter number 3. Like they split Buechele out there for a second. We'll see what they come back with in the fourth quarter. Those of you who've been watching the NFL game, that game at halftime, we welcome those of you who are going to come back and watch an excellent fourth quarter here. Texas with a 7-point lead, 14-7 over Iowa State. We'll be right back. Usually we are your Saturday or for the boys guys, Levy, Greasy, McShay. Here on a Thursday night with Laura Rutledge as we open up quarter number 4 in a 1-score game. Texas with the lead in the football. Across midfield, here's Shane Buechele. Check it down underneath the Chris Warren, and he's inside the 40-yard line. Peavy on the tackle. And Warren with some difficulty getting up, not because he's hurt, because Iowa State didn't want to let him up.
Now, if I'm Tim Beck here, I'm telling Shane Buechele this is a 7-point game. Their offense has not done a whole lot. 3 points here would be huge to get up 2 scores. So if you don't have it to get a first down, if you get at least use your legs, maybe get down to the 30, give us a chance to attempt a field goal.
Third down and 9. There he is, taking off, using the legs, takes a shot from Joel Lanning. And you see he's short of the field goal target line.
Great play by Lanning there. Probably the best play of the night for him. He got beat on the 1 touchdown, but it's for his 14th tackle on the night. He's played outstanding.
I think he had a career high in the first half.
In the open field. Form tackle.
That guy's playing quarterback a year ago. He gets, I mean, Chris Spielman would be proud of him.
Head up. See the target.
Close the gate.
Here's Joshua Rowland from 49 yards away. As long as 44 for a career high, and it's good. Josh Rowland from 49 yards away makes this a 2-score game. 17-7 Texas. See how Iowa State answers. Maybe with a new quarterback. The latest Jacob Park interception turns into a field goal and 3 points for the Longhorns, who are trying to get back to 500 to end this first month of the season under first-year head coach Tom Herman. Landon Akers is back at the goal line. See if he gets a chance to return this, and he won't. 8 yards deep in the end zone. He will take a knee.
I wouldn't second guess Mike Leach.
The Pirate. Park able to complete, and they have first down yardage out to Lazard. That's one of my favorite features on game day. They take a little snippet from Mike Leach's press conference every single week.
Great.
He's great press conference. He's a fascinating guy. Yeah. You still have Darnold 1? Do you have Darnold number
Yes,
1?
sir.
Okay.
3 of those interceptions tip balls.
I knew that's where you were going.
Don't stir it up.
Where does Mel have him? Just curious.
Well, they're
Second round.
There were about 3 interceptions dropped too, so I think it all evens out.
All right, both of you.
All right, good to know.
We're going to hold Todd's feet to the fire here.
Please. Sorry, he's won 13 straight games, 67% of his throws.
You know that's a 10:30
No
game
protection.
tomorrow night, right? You guys gonna stay up that late?
Yeah, 3 hours sleep tonight.
Park will get a lot of pressure, has to get rid of it, and does. Back shoulder, and it's caught. Hakeem Butler able to stay on his feet. He juggled that ball. But that ball was right where it needed to be.
Jacob Park, you know that the pressure's coming. It's coming from the right side. He's in full retreat. At least he knows it's coming, Todd, and he fades away from it and gives him time to throw the ball down the field.
That's good for 29. Park pumps, trying to go back to Butler. Boyd was right on him with the coverage.
His receivers have dropped a few of those back shoulder throws today. They've had opportunities for big plays and have not cashed in. So that was important for their receiver. You saw him bobble it, wasn't completely sure of it, but pulled it in. And that's a big play. Gives him some life here.
8.5 to go. Iowa State has 2 timeouts, trailing just by 10. The big play wide receiver Lazard. See if they can get it to him. He's got 5 catches for 63 yards. And that's going to go incomplete. Again, it's Boyd. It's like Boyd's covering everyone.
Boyd and Elliott have been huge tonight for Texas defense. Boyd locking guys down man-to-man. Elliott taking advantage of some poorly thrown balls.
They're playing too deep there, and they're letting Chris Boyd just trail right behind. He wants him right in his hip pocket for that throw right there. They say if you're going to throw the back shoulder, we're going to play a safety over top and a corner underneath, and it takes that away.
I know you're high on Lazard as well as a wide receiver.
I am. I think he's a big physical receiver and sometimes inconsistent catching the ball, but has improved a little bit this year.
There's 3rd and 10 underneath the Butler. He's got it, but well shy of that first down marker. You got to think they go for it here on 4th down.
The last 4th down that Iowa State went for it, Todd Orlando decided to bring Malik Jefferson right up the middle, and he's the one that sacked Jacob Park. You got to anticipate pressure here if you're Park.
And again, the Cyclones had been 4 for 4 prior to that on 4th downs on the season.
A 2 deep man under defense.
Tipped ball, and it's caught. It's caught by Butler, but again, he'll be short of the first down. And it looks like they will turn it over on downs.
Just that pressure, right? Pressure on the quarterback, get a hand up, get a tip on the ball, tight coverage. This is a great job, great game plan really by Todd Orlando all night.
The evolving relationship between a head coach and his starting quarterback can be a difficult one at times. Matt Campbell and Jacob Park, they're still figuring each other out at this point, I guess.
Well, yeah, you know, wonder what Bo Schembechler would have done. You know, he's done that to Jim Harbaugh of all people, right? Every coach is different. Every coach has a different way of handling quarterbacks in particular, right, Todd? And I think Matt Campbell right now, a little bit of tough love. Then you come over, love him up, and this conversation right here is important. There's no more important relationship than the quarterback and the head coach.
And some of it depends on the player, right? And the player's personality.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to lose your quarterback because of one game.
And everybody's watching, and TV networks are replaying that,
right?
Like us.
I think both of them have handled it as well as they possibly can. I've been really, obviously it's been a tough game for Jacob Park. He's been confused and frustrated. That's going to happen, right? You play enough football in a defense that comes in as talented as a good coach in Todd Orlando. They're going to fool you, okay? So, but you don't lose your cool. You don't make it personal with the coach or your teammates. And I've been really impressed with the way Matt Campbell has handled it. Has not lost his temper either.
Absolutely.
As the relationship develops, I imagine that story will develop. That'll be something to be talked about all week long here in Ames. A flag on the field. Laura, something to add?
Yeah, you guys mentioned it, just Matt Campbell being so calm. And even when they've had some blow-ups between Campbell and Jacob Park, he's still, every time, come over to his quarterback and made sure he's okay and offered calming words. Just now, right before he went back out, he was saying, hey, my bad, that's on me as the coach. And he's taken a lot of responsibility to try to take it off of Jacob Park.
Which is a great example. Even if he doesn't think it's his bad, we can deal with this in the film room. We can deal with this on Tuesday and Wednesday in practice, and let's work on the mistakes we had and the miscommunications we had. But I'm not going to get into a fight on the sideline with you and make it into a bigger deal.
There's 3rd and 11. Buechele, he's running all the way. You can see that. Right behind his big offensive line, led by Patrick Vahe, and he has 1st down yardage.
I think that's a great point, Todd. There's a time and a place for everything, right? And the only time where I saw Matt Campbell kind of stiffen, bristle a little bit was when Park came off the field and kind of yelled at him, had some words for him, and it was at that point, grab him by the arm and say, listen, it's not the way we're going to operate around here.
Right.
I'm building a culture here with guys like Joel Lanning and David Montgomery and guys that are unselfish and want to do it the right way. You can't stand for anybody that's outside of that.
Kyle Porter on the run right up the middle, landing yet another tackle. So the relationship and the demonstrative way they have been on the field in front of the TV cameras, is that a definite conversation on Tuesday or Monday here? Or is that, hey, let's forget about it and turn the page?
They'll address it to a certain extent. If there's certain things that Matt Campbell won't put up with moving forward, then they will revisit it, and he'll try to drive that point home. Matt Campbell is an excellent young coach. I mean, he's so well thought of that Scott Pioli with the New England Patriots tried to bring him in to be a scout and get him inside their organization. Urban Meyer tried to hire him at Ohio State before he took the head job at Toledo. And so when you talk about Urban Meyer and the New England Patriots, 2 organizations that really get it and have done a great job throughout their careers with Bill Belichick and Pioli and Urban Meyer of recognizing talent and bringing in people who can help, that's impressive, and it says a lot about what Campbell has done as an offensive coach and now as a head coach.
How many people say no to the Patriots and Urban Meyer, right?
Not too many.
They were close a year ago, right? They had 3 really close losses that could have been wins. They had 2 double-digit leads in the second half, fourth quarters of games against Oklahoma State, Baylor, right? That they didn't end up finishing. And then the game against Iowa this year, obviously, they had a chance to win that up 10 in the fourth quarter and couldn't seal the deal. So they're on to something. They're on to something. They just need, I think they need some more consistency, obviously, on the offensive side of the ball.
And they're going to have to continue to recruit well.
Yep.
And continue to upgrade that area of it, because, you know, let's face it, it can be difficult in Ames, Iowa to recruit. You've got to target people that fit what you want to do, and it's going to be a process. It's not going to be a 2-year turnaround from what Campbell inherited.
Up the middle is Warren, and he's just shy of the 40-yard line. Under 4 to play here in the fourth quarter.
You know, I think for Texas, you know, we wondered which Texas team was going to show up, the one that played against Maryland, the one that played against SC. And it hasn't been perfect. It's been sloppy tonight, but I think defensively really is where they won this football game. And I think as you look at the rest of the schedule, it's a brutal stretch now. Kansas State, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State.
I think what we're learning is defensively, they're talented enough to play championship-style defense. I mean, they really, and Todd Orlando's doing a great job. The adjustments he made from that first game of the season, and they went out and got embarrassed on that defensive side of the ball against Maryland, to the improvement we saw at USC, holding them to 17 points defensively. I know it's 24 points, but in regulation, 17 points defensively. And then to come out and take this offense that 6 straight games has had over 500 yards and has scored over 40 points in all 3 of its games coming into this one. Really impressive in the improvements there. The offensive line, that's where they've got to improve. They had 19 scholarship offensive linemen coming into the year. And Tom Herman told us he barely feels good about 6 that they can play on Saturdays.
3rd and 6. Buechelo's already run for 5 first downs, trying to get a 6th. And they're going to spot him short. And it will bring up 4th down.
But he took a shot there. Now remember, he had that bruised throwing shoulder from the Maryland game, and I know you want to close this game out and you're going to fight for extra yards. He went down awkward there.
They're going to go for it, leave the offense in there on 4th and 1 out of the 35. They've taken 5.5 minutes off the clock this possession.
A good sign there. You just run that ball behind that offensive line, get the first down, and they can seal this game. Joe, the question for me, Todd, is how is this defense for Texas and Todd Orlando? I kind of give them a pass on the first game against Maryland. You know, it's a new scheme, new personnel, new players. Everything's new. Guys are still nervous. How is this defense, after they get used to Todd Orlando, they have a bye week to kind of regroup, how's it going to look against Oklahoma? How's it going to look against Oklahoma State?
Yep.
Those are the questions that are in the next month for Texas.
On 1st down and 10. Hand it off to Porter. A helmet comes off. Take a look at our all-state rankings. These are subject to change, as always. Texas would like to see them break into the top 25. A win at Iowa State's not going to do that. You look at some of the numbers and some of the things around the country. Hey, I want to be the contrarian here.
Shocker.
Well, we're praising Texas's offense, but I'm sure there's a portion of the audience out there that's going to say, hey, Iowa State wasn't very good on offense tonight. You know, it's always a combination of the two. But has Iowa State played very well? Has Texas shut them down, or is that a product of Iowa State's offense?
I think Iowa State's offense, where they played against Iowa, who I think is a good football team. I mean, Iowa shut down Penn State, right? So you know, I think this defense for Texas is going to be kind of in the middle of the Big 12. I think TCU is probably a better defense. West Virginia, maybe.
I don't know, man.
But
I don't know. I think
third or fourth.
I think they've got the talent to be up there in the top 2 or 3.
Okay.
I think the scheme, they're finally starting to get it, as you were saying before. I think they've got ability. They're loaded at linebacker. They've got Pua Ford at 95 at defensive tackle. Their secondary is the most improved group from the first week of the season, and we've seen the ability there. I think that they can be a little bit better.
Now, this Texas defense has held Iowa State to 10 yards rushing. Yes, he said 10. And that will be the final play of the 4th quarter. Now, let's call this a workmanlike victory for the Longhorns.
Well, definitely, I think the Big 12 will be a little bit more interesting, right? TCU now at 9, and Texas might scare somebody. Who knows?
Shane Buechele and that Texas offense, they did just enough. Couple of 2-2 schools heading into the 2nd month of the season.
All right, Tom Herman is coach of the Texas Longhorns. They went to Ames, Iowa. They won tonight. They are now perfect in conference play since he took over the Longhorns. Coach, first off, thanks for holding through Giancarlo Stanton. 59 homers, right? That's impressive even if you're a college football coach?
Very impressive, absolutely.
All right. Recent trips to Ames have not been kind to your squad, the school. What went right tonight?
We played great defense. We got some 4th down stops. We stopped the run. We made them one-dimensional. And we played great defense with some turnovers as well.
What'd you do to keep your team moving forward after such a tough loss there at USC?
Well, we just talked all, 2 weeks about, we saw what we're capable of when we play really hard, really physical, and we play for the guy next to us. And so we wanted to build off that. We understand losing's losing, and there's no moral victories in college football. But we can build off of our performance in Los Angeles.
Kind of that point, coaches work to get teams to reach their full potential. Where are you in that effort compared to where you were a month ago when you started the season?
We're a lot closer on defense than we were offensively. We've now lost 3 of our best run blockers, and so we've got to figure out a way to run the football. Hats off to Iowa State. They played a different front and coverage than we had seen, scouting 2 seasons worth of film, and they had a great game plan. We adjusted, but not well enough. So we got to find a way to run the football better, to take some pressure off of our defense. But I think our defense is progressing very nicely.
You don't look too far ahead of your schedule, but I can. K-State, OU, OSU. What do you preach to your squad about league games?
Just going 1-0. That's our mantra. We've got it everywhere in our building, and our job was to go 1-0 this week in Ames, Iowa. We're going to celebrate the heck out of this victory. Winning's hard. Winning's even harder on the road. I don't care who you're playing. And we're going to celebrate the heck out of it and get ready for K-State on Sunday.
All right, it's 10:30 there in Iowa. Give me a legitimate excuse for one of your guys to miss his first class tomorrow morning.
They can't. I've got a very strict administration, so we're going to get back, and they might be a little bleary-eyed, if you will, but they'll be in class, I can assure you.
Good for you. Coach Herman, congratulations on the win. Nice trip for you back to Ames, Iowa. Hook 'em.
Thanks, guys. Hook 'em Horns.